What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon, and I am still waiting for my Satyr. And today, in this glorious age of the year 2020, we are talking about Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. So I have not read these books since I was in middle school, and I decided to reread them purely fueled by spite. I feel like recently, I am a Reylo. If you're new to this channel, I ship Reylo like very heavily. I'm a huge part of the Reylo fandom. And recently I feel like there's been this resurgence of making fun of Twilight and bashing it and just like raining all this hate down on all of these teenage girls. And so I wanted to reread it. I, as a person, have, subscribed to that, oh, I guess Twilight is just bad. I guess it is just trashy fiction. Oh, the movies are funny, blah, 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 blah. That is how we have remembered these movies. It's been like over a decade since the films came out and that craze hit. And I remember almost nothing from the books other than just major points of them. I do remember this one part in 7th grade when I was actually reading Breaking Dawn because everybody was talking about how scandalous it was because that's when the sex scene is and everything. So I really wanted to get back into this series. And Twilight is not about a love triangle. It's not about a girl who loves, being fought over by these two hot boys and that is like the dream come true or whatever. This is about a girl who moves to live with her father, something that she didn't want to do, but she feels like she has to in order for her mother to be happy. She is sacrificing things that she wants to make other people happy, and she falls in love with a monster. And in doing so, she has a sexual awakening. This is something that we have seen time and time again. It's Beauty and the Beast. It is Creature of the Black Lagoon. It is a woman finding that darkness inside of her, finding her animus, and having her sexual awakening. And we have seen this in Star Wars. It does happen in The Last Jedi. I think there's a reason why we saw that resurgence in Twilight hate happening, but I was overwhelmed by all of the sexual imagery in this book and how horny it is. Bella really wants Edward, and I love that there isn't any shame in it. This book is about Bella. It is about what she wants, and the author, Stephenie Meyer, has created the ideal version of what Bella wants. He is this kind of loner guy because she kind of feels like she's on the outside as well. He's absolutely beautiful. He listens to her. He pays so much attention to her, and she wants him very badly. Yes, we do have the introduction of some tropes that now are very much cliche, like Bella is, this nondescript brunette girl who is clumsy and she doesn't think any boys like her, and yet all of the boys ask her out to the dance and like all of that kind of stuff. So yes, there is some cringiness. There is those cliches that are starting to come in, but what this book is about is Bella. It's about her discovering what she wants. And I think it's safe to give spoilers, and this book has been out for 15 years. I had completely forgotten that at the end of this book, Bella wants to be a vampire. Her and Edward fall in love because it is this deep connection that they are sharing. There's something about her that has drawn him to her, and Bella feels that connection as well. So she wants to become a vampire. She doesn't want to live without him. She doesn't want that life that she has been living. And of course, Edward is telling her no, you have to keep your humanity and be alive and whatever. And she flat out tells him, she's like, I don't want you to be constantly saving me. I don't want to be your Lois Lane. I want to be Superman too. I want us to be equals. Relationships are built on equality, and that can't happen if you're a vampire and I'm a human. And that was groundbreaking to read because that is something that has completely disappeared from the narrative when people are bashing Twilight. So that was very interesting to rediscover. As a whole, this is definitely not the best book ever written. There's definitely problems with it. I am giving it a B+, and honestly, I would recommend everybody to go out there and reread this book because I think nobody has remembered what exactly Twilight in itself is about. This is a teenage girl's sexual awakening, and I can see why people were afraid of that. I can see why the movie is made fun of. I can see why men hate on this. When I finished it at work. I asked two guys there, I'm like, what do you guys think of Twilight? Have you ever read the book? Have you seen the movie? Both of them immediately got very uncomfortable talking about this, and one of them had never read it, never seen it, but he knew that it was bad, and the other one was quote unquote forced to see it and hated every minute of it. He only remembers the beginning and proceeded to tell me why it's bad, and a lot of the facts he was spouting were just straight up wrong about the cliches and the tropes and the love triangles. And it's just really fascinating to me that we all hate on Twilight and we're policing girls in their sexual awakening. People seem to be very, very afraid of women falling in love with monsters and taking control of their sexuality and figuring out what exactly is going on here. But clearly, this book was tapping into something that girls needed. I looked into kind of the evolution of the young adult genre because in my mind, Twilight was very instrumental to that, and it is not even mentioned in the Wikipedia article. It talks about Harry Potter and then it moves straight on to Hunger Games, and this book came out before Hunger Games, which I think is really telling. I think that's really, really interesting because this did revolutionize YA. It was longer than the typical YA book. Stephanie Meyer had never written anything until this came out. It came to her in a dream, and it has inspired a lot of women to write more. I myself read a lot of fan fiction. I know that, 50 Shades was fan fiction of Twilight. It was completely inspired by this, and it's very interesting to me that we hate on it so much. So I'm really excited to be rereading the series, and I hope you guys will go on this journey with me and reread these books because I think we have forgotten a lot about them. And I do know we're gonna get into the love triangle stuff. I do know that there is a weird narrative about like waiting till marriage and then she immediately gets pregnant, and I'm just like, okay, no, that's a little bit weird. And just think, if she had turned into a vampire in this book, because it ends at prom, that's an interesting story about sex at prom as well. So I'm excited to see what we're going to discover reading these books in 2020. And in my opinion, if you made Twilight into a movie now, it probably would get a lot of the same hate, but I do think it would be received a little bit differently. I think we would have a little bit of a different reception of it. I do think you can see a little bit of that with The Last Jedi, and it would depend on who directed it, it would depend on who adapted it, but there's something more to be said here, so I'm excited to see where we're gonna go. So Twilight is getting a B+ from me, and like I said, highly recommend you give this book another look. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe so you can talk books with me every week. That is everything got for you today. I will see you guys next time. Bye!